A little bit early for it, but Dan, I hope that you have a humble pie in the oven because if this series is indication and any indication how this is gonna go, you might be wrong. And you're talking a big game. That was a strong core victory once we got that half done.
There's no way we
That's
come back
crazy.
and we're already having this.
Up
There's no,
arms,
that's
yep.
crazy, Sierra. I see how it is. I remember this. No, actually, it was a good match. We talked about it being close. We talked about this being the closest match that we had on the main broadcast
Mhm.
since yesterday, and it's building up to be exactly that. I mean, it was so back and forth between the two, especially in the first half. And at some point, it was that 7-7 where it was anybody's game. Then, I mean, we're gonna talk about it. There was a crazy retake taking place. We just got to see a little bit of it. It was a 2v4, and ever since, Sad could not get a single extra round.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk a big game because it's fun, but there was definitely a point at which we did not know which way this was going to go. The teams were Roy just kind of step in step for a long time, and that was exciting. I think that we got to see a lot of highlights coming out from both until that one pivotal round.
Yeah, and I think it kind of goes in line with what the casters were talking about as well, right? They were mentioning the fact that it's sort of this old style with Sova Breach kind of clashing into this new meta with Tejo and Breach, right? And it really did show in the second half where it just looked a lot more dynamic, a lot more oppressive in the way they wanted to accomplish goals on the map, the way they wanted to set up their team fights and their retakes. Like, they just have so much to work with. And it really just, at some point, felt like an absolute comp differential mixed with, you know, Nerve popping off and a lot of these players popping off. It really just looked overwhelmingly one-sided in the second half.
I mean, right away, Dan, for this, if we're talking about things that are a little one-sided, Sad, that's a pretty significant first kill lead for what ends up being a pretty flipped match score here.
Yeah, I mean, the retakes that we saw on that second half for this hardcore were insane. Were the reason why they closed it out. We talked about that round, but even towards the end, it seems like they're sad we're finally going to get the first round of the half after struggling for a little bit, or maybe the third round after struggling for a little bit. But the retakes for core were so clean, and it wasn't even you know, the use of utility or that set retake that they had planned. It was just really good communication of, okay, who was going to swing first, and coming from different parts being overwhelming to what sad we're trying to do in the post.
Taking a look at the player performances as well coming out from this series, there was quite a few people that we highlighted going into this. We got to see some great kills from Ferbza off the bat. Timotino, we did see some great stuff from Roy, and I feel like we definitely didn't necessarily talk about the core duo coming out from core, who ended up stepping up big in this match.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the superpower of Core, right? Is the fact that they have so many strong supportive players. Like we didn't even really mention Nerve much in the pre-show, but Nerve is a very strong player on the controller role. He's willing to take risks. He's sort of that sort of dynamic player that you want in a what was traditionally a very kind of passive role. So I think Core has the recipe to be a really dynamic team. They have the comms, they definitely have the team play, and it really did show here in this map where you could just clearly see the sort of their game plan coming to life.
Yeah, and again, this was one that, despite this end score, was actually decently close up to a point. And there was definitely moments where I thought Sad Esports were starting to slowly but surely get the better of Core, but want to start moving on into what was that one pivotal moment. Because Dan, when we looked at this before this, as soon as the sides swapped, this is hand in hand, but one round in particular, looking back at round 15, started that undoing of Sad Esports.
Sometimes you look at rounds and you look at post plans and you know things are about to get really messy, and I feel like that round 15 was one of them. It was a 2v4. Core were trying to go for the retake. You see how Nerve is pretty much playing by himself, and Stars isolating those duels makes it easy for the team. Even towards the end on that last kill, he had no communication, it seems like, on that last player being 1 HP. But this is the round where things were even, and ever since Sad could not win, and it is frustrating. It is technically a 1v4 if you count the kills, and Sad could not come back from this after.
Yeah, that one, Timotino, that was such a nice flash there, Roy. But Nerve, like, this started to be where, well, Nerve started getting a little shaken.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to point out that I mean, his name is Nerve, but he looked completely ice cold right here. Okay. His crosshair didn't even shake a single time in any of these situations. It really did feel like he was in complete control, even though he was in one of the most disadvantageous positions to be in almost 180-degree crossfire, guys. That is, I cannot be understated how stressful it is to be in that much of a disadvantage and still come out on top, looking like the aggressor, looking completely ice cold. And then, yeah, you guys are absolutely right. After this round, it was a complete roll from the core side. They looked energized, they looked completely in control, and they looked like their game plan was just superior in almost every way.
Yeah, because again, how close it was beforehand, but this is where afterwards I felt like SAD Esports, there started being kind of those little mistakes. Even one of the final rounds of the game where it was either Nerve or Snarly hiding in the corner and it wasn't cleared at the end when we're looking at Baby Door, and they just decided to run on through. All of a sudden there's a couple kills and things like that, that really, when you're going up a team that we've definitely said is competent, both of these teams are, those aren't mistakes that you can kind of get away with. And want to start going back to that core of core gaming here and look at Nerve and Snarly, because Nerve was the one that really got that underway, that unraveling of SAD Esports, and then Snarly Dan was able to keep that going on later in the match. Both a huge step up.
It's interesting, right? Because we're looking at both of the controllers on the map of Lotus, and we mentioned it towards the beginning, Roy. This map being played without a sentinel, which is not something that we're used to seeing too much, and then you get to see the double controller actually worked out pretty well. I think in general, just a combination of utility and the things that they wanted to get away with on this round, they did pretty well. But these two guys, on top of that, they were just shooting and aiming better than anybody else.
I mean, yeah, you literally have one of the longest standing members of core, Snarly, on a very supportive role, and he's dropping 153 ADR, 2.0 KDA, and then you have your other controller pretty much putting up star player performances. I mean, yeah, I think this script kind of writes itself for us. So I mean, they made our job pretty easy here on the desk. They did a phenomenal job, and it clearly showed.
100%, but the job's not done quite yet. No, we still got one, maybe two more maps in the series, and that was their own map pick. So now we're going to be heading on into the next of the series and start taking a closer look at Bind, which is SAD Esports pick. And going into it, even if there's a couple of different issues that there was for Lotus, one of the key things that was kind of chalked up to, Roy, was the composition. One's playing the cool stuff, the other's not necessarily keeping up with it. But Bind, both of them recently been playing with the Tejo, which I think bodes for a much better map too.
Yeah, and it makes complete sense, right? Because Tejo allows so much easy map control, especially with his rechargeable salvos. I mean, you could challenge hookah, you could challenge showers early, you could deny long B. There's just so much oppression happening on that with the Tejo utility on this map. It makes complete sense that both teams would lean into it. But I mean, this is the narrative for the previous map was old style versus new style, but now it's kind of new style, both clashing on this map. So it's really going to come down to the game plans and the individual performances.
I gotta say, I don't really understand why SAD is going with this map. They played it just a few days ago, 3 days ago, against YDZ, and they lost 3-13. So it's not really clear to me why they're playing it. Sometimes we do see teams willing to maybe change the composition, but it's been 3 days, and we already talked about it. We had that question about the first map. Things remain the same, and yeah, they're bringing this to hope, but that is not a loss and not a VOD that you want to have out before this official match of Challengers.
If it makes anyone feel better, Core also had a pretty bad loss here 3 days ago with their new comp, so hey, at least we're gonna keep it even here. Well, we'll see if there's any switch ups or how this comp is gonna be shaking up as we head into the agent select. I mean, if SAD Esports are picking it, I'm curious if maybe they felt that one day was a little bit off for them if we're looking at a change. But the Tejo is the same. There was one key little piece that I knew that was different, and Dan, it's going to be the Vise Snarly for Core.
Yeah, and on the other side, Benji's still going to be playing this deadlock that we saw on that match that we just brought up. But Timotino continuing to play with this Yoru as well is really interesting. That Yoru versus the race for Frupsat, that in that duel that we talked about towards the beginning of the day.
I absolutely love the lean into the Yoru, to be honest. I feel like the agent has been overtuned for so long, but there really hasn't been any players that have been so outstandingly good with Yoru to the point where it's been so, exactly, it's a very difficult role to play. But I think with the introduction of Tejo, whose utility is so easy to use, it kind of fills the gaps. Like you have the extra, you have the extra explosives to pressure positions and sort of zone players, and then now you're leaning into the breach as well, which pairs extremely well with the Yoru. And then you have Vice on the other hand, so they have like a setup / pressure the map sort of play, and on the other hand, if you try to react on the other side of the map, you're going into the Vice and you're going into the global Astra utility, which is going to make it incredibly awkward to sort of find your timings and your reactions on this map that is generally pretty fast-paced.
And when I've been seeing this Taeho, it has been so broken with the breach. So sad Esports instead opting for the Sky. I'm intrigued about that. We know of the recent history of these two. Well, time to see if there's been any adjustments though. Map 2 in this series. Let's head back over to your casters, Uber and Wyatt.
Thanks, gang. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this talk, Wyatt, about the Yoru pick here again from Timo. And I feel like, God, Yoru on Buy was one of the first sort of instances where we used to see it used by teams like Sentinels, right? Tens would play it, make a bunch of noise in showers, and then like gate crash across the map to help his team attack the B side. So now we're starting to see Yoru just look kind of ubiquitous on a lot of these maps, especially in the hands of Timotino.
And it is nice having an agent that can be in positions where the Taeho utility is going to be needed to be used to clear him out, and then you can teleport away. Well, Zerno just cooks him.
You're right, Wyatt.
Not a real ability.
The stun, not a real ability.
Oh, come on.
Did you see that? I'm not sure.
I think that was just fortuitous timing.
That's insane. That is absolutely mental. Okay, what a dream start for Sad on this map. Timotino trying to go for some shenanigans. B-Long getting caught out by Zerona, who was stunned. Then that from Tuzi. Well, I'm sitting up in my chair now. You have my attention. Much rests on Darkest's shoulders here. Well, that util to use, but no other option really but to try and stick this over towards the A side, and Ferbs is lying in wait.
This shall be a pretty interesting matchup in regard to a couple of the decisions made with the comps that differ. The Sky really stands out to me as an interesting choice. You certainly, on paper, would prefer the Breach here. It's like what we have seen with TSM the other day, how effective they were running this comp where they ran over Winthrop. They had that deadlock, but the Breach just syncs up with everything so nicely. And the Taeho having the drone replaces the dog that a Sky usually would have, is one of the reasons that you want to have Sky on this map. Clear out showers. So I'm interested to see what kind of value they can extract from the Sky, essentially. Like,
it feels like very much that old school composition with the Taeho twist, just because they feel like they need that. Interesting. Zerona looking at the trajectory of those salvo shots. Realizing Darkest is also there for the taking over towards B-Long. Sada being pulled every which way right now, but not overcommitting into anything. And Dip holds a strong line. Snarly tries to walk up there on the A side of the map, but all the action here is over towards Hookah. Sad, though, to sniff this out. Only Nerve and Darkest left to work with now. And that's going to be an orb at least for Darkest's troubles as they get closer to that Rolling Thunder. Ferbsy hears all of this now and knows there's about to be some action.
That is just about as clean as it gets. A lot of good weaponry to bring into the bonus, and quality weaponry, honestly, for a bonus round.
Especially with 3 light armors on the board, right?
Yeah, that's going to be a major issue if QOR want to get all of their utility proper, which it seems that they do. Dangerous. Dangerous in the face of an outlaw.
It's all about Ferbs, though, being put in a position to get the most value out of that weapon. It looks like they're going to play the B side instead. Again, might get busy. So most of the concentration of core players, though, is over towards Hookah for the time being. There is some of this deadlock util set up to shut that down. Zerona swings out, caught in a grab. Well, there'll be no help for them here. Timo just gets that one for free, essentially. Takes a little bit of damage. This is going to draw a barrier out from Timo. Ferbs finally is poised to get some value out of this outlaw. Ooh, shoulder peaked. Has to get away.
Oh, could be a timing for Benji. Timotino too swift with it. Was definitely a standout on map 1. Living up to some of the hype that the desk was deservedly giving him coming into this series.
It looked like such a good round here for Sad to win on a bonus, especially with this weapon in the right place, in theory. Okay, not bad. That's one for Ferbs, and that's all they're going to have with that outlaw. Damn, there's a lot of this util. This Astra sucks, also pretty scary. Salvo comes in over the top. It's going to be Snarly, who covers the backside perfectly. And that first buy for QOR, squeaky clean. Only one weapon given up.
The little trap setup play in Hookah with the Sky Flash is not that explosive. That Yoru clone definitely got in the way as well for Zerona trying to swing, but just swinging for yourself off of a Sky Flash is not ideal. Yeah, and then caught in the grav well because of it. Had nowhere to go, couldn't retreat. Punished hard for it.
Back to it.
There's an application of, Yoru just getting out of that sight line, being able to, gate crash onto the B site, get past Octagon, and being able to push the Outlaw player up close. Ferbster can only really just react by getting that one kill, and then they were overwhelmed.
QOR taking some very early control of Hookah, working towards B long. These site anchors are going to have a lot of work to do. Zerona trying to back up. You can see Benji wants to throw a grab net off the timing here, but blinded up and caught.
Okay, Trailblazer does connect. Zerona going to flash themselves out into this. What am I watching? Zerona seems so tense. Playing this part of the map. It's like overheats the last couple of rounds, or at least trying to go for these big plays. It's another one that just doesn't work.
Timotino punishing them so hard, gets into the site as well, finds the third. I'm definitely struggling with this Sky so far when you think about the fact that a breach in that situation could just fault line every player in long, could stun the players trying to get out of Hookah to really stop that push in its tracks when one half of the split push is stunned. But it's just not the case. It just results in Sad awkwardly trying to fight together towards long.
In fairness,
It's tough.
I get it. They have flashed, and I think at least one of those core players is stunned up by the Trailblazer. But there's a reason why they also increase the gun up time for Sky after a flash is deployed. Is that it's harder now to play off of your own util, especially going into 3 players. It's tough as Zerona to come out. You've got to kill them all, really. After losing a player, that's the only way it feels really worth. Otherwise, it's just a trade.
Yeah, that long fight just got really awkward with the timing, with the dog being used as well. Couldn't even try to go for a trade. And that is the economy broken. And QOR is rolling. They have not dropped too many players up until this point, outside of those obviously losing the pistol and the eco, but since they've been buying up, their economy has been pretty strong.
They've dropped 1 to 2 guns around over the last couple. Here's the util dump. Sad going to push out here behind this Teho setup. Timo, okay.
Breach
No
is
interest in
pretty
game
good.
crashing out. They could have at any point escaped, but they have confidence that the backup is going to be there. Coming out of connector. And away we go again towards B. Sad down to 2.
They are making it look quite effortless at the moment.
Blocking vision.
The fault line coming through from Darkest was nail in the coffin on that effort to fight out of Hookah. One of those
Spike.
hero rifles still remains for Tuzi, but probably just going to be a very sad and monotonous save for him.
Chance is starting fine for it as
Player
well.
standing.
Stinger gets a gun, takes Logan low. QOR's economy already just chilling. Again, this is a round where they're going to lose 1, 2 guns. 2 guns in the end. Tuzi's able to keep the rifle into the next. Not great for Sad. Honestly, they've really been struggling. They try and vary the pace there, Wyatt.
Bring it.
They dump their Teho util over to connector. They push out of Hookah. And they're not ready for the Yoru to be sat in the corner. And then by the time the Yoru gets the kill, the rest of QOR have recovered and can actually back them up.
That situation definitely could have been an example of, and was to some extent, how good the Yoru is right now at going up against the Teho, being able to play in a position like that, and could have teleported out if necessary while taking that initial fight, drawing out the utility, and then the teammates could have swung for a market to clean it up, but didn't even need to teleport. Able to just play tucked in the corner, swing off the fault line.
That's because the fault line's coming.
These,
Ordinarily, I think you take that first kill and you probably gate crash out. You could just swing off this fat breach util. Not the cleanest end of the round for QOR, but hey, they got some money to spend. It's fine.
All right, everything invested for Sad. They need to stabilize here, or economically things are going to get so out of control. Will be a real uphill battle. B-site has been fully controlled by QOR elsewhere. Snarly goes down from the showers push.
There's 2 players pushed up there for Sad. They really wanted to just negate that low pressure that Snarly's been trying to apply over the last few rounds. Here we go, trying to hit the side though. Nicely done. That sonic sensor actually gets a lot of value there for Benji, but they end up falling to one of those salvos. This will be a plant here, or will it? No, okay. Dip is going to delay that further, buying time now for those defenders to come back through spawn side. Tuesday opts not to throw up a Nebula yet.
Drone is down.
Here it is.
Good drone for some info. Surprised Ferbsa didn't try to nade default, to be honest. They can't just take the spike. They want to go out. It's not even a tap right now, but that's going to be a free kill. Great rocket.
Stunning stuff. Nerve can't do more than just the one kill. So Sad, fight back. Again, really have to play a different style round with that push up through showers to get an early lead, but they're able to convert it.
And luckily, some of that deadlock utility found connections over towards B as well. Yeah, that initial push in showers, definitely the key.
There's a rolling thunder, but yeah, Teemo's hit by a ton of that util. Stunned up by the sonic sensor by the looks of things. Ferbsa, we're not sure how they know there's a player there, but they make the right choice about where they send that showstopper. Here's a push B long for Sad, and Logan will be slower to pick up this line. Good all. The gate crash here, now back towards B long, so more of a split now. Less of that presence towards Hookah. An overload for B long. 3 players here for Core. Dorota tries to turn that flash. They're going to have the hot foot either way. Logan's going to take them down, but they know they have to plant their feet to get the 1-for-1. It's like a grab net connection, potentially. Benji's able to deal with the breach and trade. Now all 3 defenders from that A site were thinking about heading over to B, but they hear this TP.
Sad are gathered up, trying to work back into the A site, re-clear. Dip's trying to play forward towards triple, one away from his Armageddon. Could have an explosive finale to this round. Few ultimates in play, 2 players, 1 orb away. And everyone gathered up towards the A site.
Sad are reading a pump fake here from Core wired through the TP.
Yeah, I was going to say, I say that, and the noise cut has
You are divided.
just baited Sad to walk away, be more concerned about the B site as well, but it is there with the spikes going down.
There's nothing for Tuesday to see here.
Spike planted.
Logan's able to walk away from that salvo. Dip not able to interrupt the plant. Razorvine going to deny any access right now to U-Haul. Tuesday has to check shower. This all needs to be re-cleared. Sad have no control of this part of the map, and here comes that Armageddon. No chance of a touch here on the spike for the time being. Ferbsa and Tuesday playing, though, inside that Nebula. They have a Cosmic Divide of their own. They try and set it up. Here comes Sad. Ferbs is low, might be used as the decoy now. Gravwell going to pull the defuser off. And Nerve is getting ready to flood into this. Logan takes Ferbsa. 2 left here for Sad to work with, and Dip salvages it. Unreal. With enough time to get the defuse. That's about as messy as it gets, but Sad. Dig their heels in and find another hard-fought one.
Yeah, I'm curious if there was some kind of confusion there with Snarly going a bit earlier, going down, and then just left his teammates into that uncomfortable 2 versus 3 where eventually they have to press the issue and go through the Cosmic Divide that was placed perfectly to try and get the stick onto the spike.
Here's how this goes down. This is from a different view. Here's that swing through the wall. Dip is in the corner. They just don't see him. Okay.
Yeah,
It's messy.
With the time wasted, they were concerned about a rewrap. Never came. But all good. The round is converted regardless to couple hero rifles over for Core as they try to get into this A site. Ferbsa playing on defense, just trying to get out of the way of the dimensional drift. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's the Aura Breach combination. They set Teemo up with a fault line. He at least can force them back to vents. If you can't get any deeper than that, Teemo's okay. Has the gate crash out. Mind you, as a Bucky, so finds himself in a bit of an awkward spot where he can try and embed himself on the A site in some fashion. Sad somehow survived that onslaught, getting back at the site. Here come the Seekers, and there's a Seal Garden now in play.
Core, we might not want to be in lamps. They're getting out of there, trying to fight forward ahead of the Armageddon that might come through.
Yep. Okay, catch it. That would have been a grab net, I think, that Benji was trying to throw. Core anchoring this side beautifully. But here come those stingers, going to work. Teemo finally gets some Bucky value in vents, and it's up to Zerona in a 1 versus 2. They're both low. Zerona has a better weapon. Time, they're not really on their side. Had to check these corners.
Sign up for this.
And Darkus can flash into this fight. That's half, and Zerona opts to stick it. No other choice. A disappointing result for Sad, who, frankly, disengaged really well from that very heavy util dump onto the A side.
Yeah, they baited out all of the util excellently. They avoid all of it. They're set to go for the retake, but man, they slowed the pace of the game down far too much. It allowed for the players that were in lamps to get enough time to realize, oh, we should probably not be in lamps, and actually let's press the issue because we're about to get Armageddoned. All of that util just needed to come in way swifter from Sad. Too slow from them. Punished for it.
Here we go again. This time, same play. It's going to be the clone into Hookah. This time, it's not a grab well on that ledge that catches Zerona, but a Nebula thrown up. This as well, because there wasn't much backup there, excuse me, for Benji, who would have been there. Again, it's a B-split. Sad on nothing but pistols, mind you. So at best, they can try and extract some weaponry, folks, but it's a big ask, and that seems like overkill, but hey, who am I to judge?
Definitely somewhat confused about what the players on B were doing there. Things became very disconnected, despite a decent amount of mid-round information being gained for Sad in other areas of the map around Hookah and Shower, but regardless, they're on an eco. This should just be easy cleanup for Core, no matter how they played it.
It's less clean, more effective there for Starly and Hookah. Verbs and VP really don't have any way of getting in. Tor just want to get this one done, apparently. Something in the oven, perhaps? Flawless round here in round 9.
Darkus wanted to take those fights as well because he was just a couple orbs away from getting the Rolling Thunder. So even though their economy wasn't incredible to end that round and they want to keep those guns, they also realize the value of getting the Rolling Thunder into this round where Sad's economy is going to be on the line entirely. So that was a good little decision at the end there to ensure that they'll have that big utility piece to actually win this critical round.
On our other stream here, Nightblood Gaming over against YFP, a squad that we were pretty excited to just see how they were emerging here in Challengers. Nightblood really only, I guess, came to our attention during stage 3 of VCL last year, and honestly, like, pretty solid run. They end up losing to YFP in those finals. I think it was lower final.
It was the lower final, yeah. In the lower final, YFP Nightblood beat Nightblood in stage 3. Word soup.
They were fighting for the right to get pooed on by rankers, so it was an interesting tournament there. But yeah, maybe a bit of a grudge match there for Nightblood against the team that eliminated them. Pretty close affair on Bind, as is this matchup. Core only one round to their favor. Sad call a timeout here after dropping 2 in a row after a pretty unconvincing eco round where you said, yeah, things break down a little bit here on this B side. We're not really sure what happens for Sad.
Yeah, entirely disconnected there. Pretty unfortunate. All right, here's the full buy, though. I just want to see what Core are intending on doing with this Rolling Thunder. How does Sad play around this? It looks like they want to just go fast into this A site. That's at least one player caught in lamps trying to escape.
Razor Vines all over the place here. Snarly's going to make it really hard for Sad to move freely across this side. Dip opts not to give it up, though. He's sitting backside, doesn't go into vents whatsoever, but there's going to be 3 guns trained at him in a couple of moments. And Tuzi wants to try and link up with Benji here, at least from U-Haul, so he opts not to show himself yet. He's actually got himself into a cheeky little backstab position. This is checked for, though, by Logan. There's already another player running into halls behind him. Again, this is a buy-up for Sad. They call a timeout for a round just like this, and Snarly makes it look all too easy. Again, the avalanche of util on A is too much.
Timotino is genuinely an excellent aimer. That first century kill was fantastic. A very cool execute from Core as well, integrating some lineups with the Vice Razor Vines, getting those mollies back sight while the Rolling Thunder comes in from the front, forces them into the Razor Vines even.
See, this is how it plays out towards the end of the round. Just no site presence. I feel like if there's an opportunity there for Tuzi to make some impact, then fine. But again, that's another buy round that goes, again, falls flat. Zerona's used to the clone play by this point.
Yeah, frankly, I really would have preferred just see Sad play the breach. If this guy is just not offering any stopping power on defense when these big executes are coming in, you can't really set effective trap plays with the fault line and some of that other utility that syncs up so nicely with it. I do think Core's comp is just straight up better.
Yeah.
I think they've comp diffed them in both maps so far, and that cannot be ignored.
Deadlock U2 is set up here towards B-Long, is unlikely to get a ton of value. Timo again, just simple gate crash into the site, gets past that elbow line and able to fight for control of the site itself. And again, it's a player advantage here for Core. The weaponry, terrible for Sad. Zerona has been completely circumvented, ignored with his Bucky inside hookah.
Planted.
Probably a safe guess from Core to expect that there's something ratty happening here. So Zerona has no choice but to pick themselves up and get to work.
Core really read this well. Teleport comes through, nade. Not ideal. Snarly, oh my god, was on that passive angle, just gets cooked.
Pretty nice recovery there from Ferbsa. Here comes Tuzi though. Just as Logan had Util in their hand, eventually able to punish them with the Stinger now as they run rough shot over the side itself. Nerve and Dark is playing off of it. Doubling up over towards Octagon here. In the event that Grabwell is going to be interrupting the defuse. There's too much post-plant util to work through. Ferbs is healthy. Tuzi gets the half here. The spray has to be good. Ferbs, it keeps their attention and in fact gets rid of them. That was a straight thrifty round there for Sad. Horrendous weaponry. And they get it done.
Last round.
Ferbsa bailed them out, getting that kill onto Snarly over by Market outside of hookah. Just getting the rifle off that too, and then it actually opens up an opportunity for Zerona to get in the game, get in the mix. Otherwise, he would have just been trapped in a hookah entirely. Is at least able to escape, create some space for everyone else to get out.
I think, yeah, Tuzi just got off the defuse there, right?
Yeah, they just weren't able to stick it.
Oh, despite Ferbs killing the last two players, I'm not sure what happens there. Maybe Tuzi doesn't think they have time. It looks like they have time. I don't know, man. It's a backbreaker. But here's the buy anyway for Sad. They got a lot done, and they also really cut that economy of Core down to size.
I'll handle this.
That's tough. He's had a pretty high first blood rate in this game. I will tell you that. Spots out Ferbsa as well, who's just running with a showstopper. Will not be finding a target with that.
He heard something over towards. Oh, yes, got him.
What a
he
snipe.
Hears him come out of drift. That is so brutal. The sound cue gives him all the information he needs to send that showstopper over and claim the kill. Right.
Oh my god. Bro's looking like to hang.
You can't help yourself, can you? You can't help yourself. I'm supposed to be the old guy here, bro. That's crazy.
Enemy remaining.
Nice recovery
Oh my
from Sad, though.
god, that was a nasty double swing.
Yeah, I mean, again, because there's so much of this deadlock util, right, that they still have to push into.
Remaining.
Guys,
Badakis
can we
somehow is able
not
to extricate
throw?
himself in this situation. This shouldn't be happening. Surely Ferbsa puts this to bed. And as our heart rate returns to normal, it's the end of the half, and Core have a slim lead.
That's when someone in the voice comm says, losable? Like, what? Huh? What are we doing? Oh my god. Chaotic last couple rounds.
It's a ridiculous half.
I still want to see what happened on the other one of why they couldn't get onto the spike. Was there another grab? That was just such a weird situation.
Possibly.
But,
All we know is that Tuzi gets off of it.
yeah.
I can't tell us because I think they need to fight. Because I think, I don't know about you, bro, but they had it half. That's brutal. Great grab well. I mean, this is really nice. There is a lot of like anti-flood utilities on that B side of the map, right? You even notice there's like a sonic sensor that isn't tripped at that point. But yeah, that plus the Astra suck gave Sad enough time to reinforce and just gun them down there from spawn side.
No escape.
Aggression was the... Nebula gets recalled by Core, trying to fight towards long, and there's that stun as well.
Yeah, it was like that Leviathan double hold at top of B-Long. gets kind of broken down as for whatever reason, Nerve wants to get out of there. A lot of util's been drawn out of the attackers, though. They have basically none left.
Yeah, that's a lot of gray if you look over on their side of the screen. I mean, there was so much used from QOR as well, but it's all just recyclable utility. They get so much value out of the fault line from the arc rows.
And again, they've suffered no casualties here. They've been able to set up like a razor vine below Hookah. Looks like Sad have eyes for this A site now instead. Logan is there with all that Teho util. Timo also has a Sheriff. Okay, spotted out here, pushing across the site. We have the guy to salvo from Dip, probably was just clearing out U-Haul, which Timo was set up in. He's actually pulled back over towards, over towards Vent, and that's now been covered by that deadlock wall. That's the issue. Playing against this comp, the post plant is hard to get through. Here's the salvo. Timo's going to get himself into U-Haul now pretty quickly, but Logan actually gets a freebie. Benji is amongst it. Caught in the fault line potentially. Looked like both initiators had a hand in that elimination. And Timo's just dishing it out now. Gets himself up short, roaming across the site. Tuzi's there, not ready for this push, and that is 3 with the Sheriff. The Canadian stunning us in another pistol round as QOR keep their nose out in front.
It's just sickening play from Timatino. This guy is looking like the real deal. Having a duo of him and Darkest on this team, that is really nice. And you got a couple very experienced players within the Challengers scene. Nerve has more recorded games on VLR than I think I've seen of any other player. I can't find someone with more recorded games. Like, for instance, GMD, he's been playing since the beta. He's been competing forever, playing in Challengers, in Tier 1 at various points. He's played 320 matches recorded. Nerve has played 532. This dude's playing every tournament there's ever been ran. It's crazy.
Perennial grinder, man. That's wild. Okay, hard hit here from Sad, but Logan is ready to receive. Darkest here, Sad back behind that. Concuss inside that smoke, but Logan, that controller shower, is able to find yet another kill. Spike loose here. Timo forced to back up. Awkward angle to play here with the Outlaw, and yeah, probably not going to get away with that kill. Sheriff's up close are nasty, and it's up to Tuzi. His position known. Has the Outlaw to hand, but a immense job to pull off. And Snarly is on this late wrap. There's no need for Nerve to push out and take this, but chunking Tuzi down to 13 seems well worth the risk. Where do they go from here? Maybe try and get into the tower themselves. Nerve still making some noise up there.
Making noise, and yeah, somewhere. Too easy. All too easy. QOR stabilizing. They lose some guns, not the cleanest, but more importantly, they get that round win.
I mean, this Outlaw looks good enough.
Almost doubling up, since they can once again exploit the lack of cash on the Sad side.
Yeah, I mean, they forced Stingers in the second round, right? Instead of just taking their licks and sitting back with a weaker buy, so now it's Sheriffs and stuff all armor, and the round that makes that Outlaw once again super relevant, and it's in the right spot too, Wyatt.
Flash. Let's drive him off the line for a moment. Oh my god, this guy is just nasty.
And honestly, this is a bet of Sad's own making. Around, they can't afford proper armor. I won't say easy, because Timo still had to challenge that guiding light. Is rewarded with 2 kills.
And Nerve there felt like he could catch a great timing after the teleport. Did catch the timing, but just got swatted away by a sick shot with the Sheriff. The wall gets triggered, but no one in front of it, just baited out.
Tuzi's quite deep here on the A side of the map. Logan, though, aware that, that Astra or Vice, depending on what side you're on, is going to be roaming pretty far and wide. At B side, you're just not getting into if you're Sad at this point. It's not happening. Tuzi still has all of this smoke util. Can quite easily, block off Vents and Heaven. I don't know if I'm sure if they have controller showers or not. He's just going to walk into this, though, and losing the Astra here. Okay, that would have been devastating. So much util for this post-plant, but Logan's actually gone down. It's too risky to go and get the rifle, but this now puts Sad with a decent chance for the round.
I'm looking at Timotino with a dimensional drift. He just picks up the rifle as well, trades it out with Darkest, who's now the holder of the Outlaw. But that all could get all of the valuable information. Could be a great distraction as well for Snarly, who's trying to get a timing off the flank.
Okay, here's that drift. And Timo is in U-Haul, sees nothing. Okay, Benji just takes a breath there before taking the shot, apparently. Now the net is closing on Sad. Definitely feels like they've been put on a timer, and that is a beautiful little fault line. Yeah, even with the opponent's blinded, Zerona is not going to be able to win that out. It's going to be up to Tuzi now. And you feel like there's so much riding on this round, even if it is a half buy, save round. Tuzi, Snarly, can't dodge this. What a clutch with the Sheriff. And Timotino just looks on. Can't do a thing about it.
Just the delay offered by the Gravwills at the end from Tuzi, who is the easy MVP of that round. Getting that kill onto Logan and Spawn with the snap Sheriff flick. That's the kill that evened things up into the 3 versus 3, making this round doable at all anyway. God, that is so sick.
What a round from Tuzi. That first kill is obscene enough in itself. Pushing that far in towards Venson, just killing a player with a rifle. Logan has to be kicking himself after that one. But the clutches, man, look what Sad had to do to mimic a fraction of Core's power to win these rounds. It is something else.
Off that, they've broken Core's economy. This is their chance to get back into the game. Sky flashes. Perfect. Nerve does not know where the hell he's at.
Snarly already getting ready to try and set up some kind of crossfire, but Core just don't have the weaponry here to be particularly competitive. Not that held Sad back in the previous round. We might be diving in through this TP. But they haven't cleared that part of the map at all, and Logan would have been ready to feast. It's still on the table. Nothing happening over at that B side. That's why has to herald the TP play, and guess who's in the corner? It is Logan, but the Seekers spot him out. Oh, awkward. The antidote in Zerona's hands to someone ratting in that corner. So it's an unscathed mob of Sad players swarming over the A site now.
I was about to say, this would be a great time to pop the Seekers in the mid-round to go and hit the opposite side of the map. They do exactly that. Great decision. Great shot.
That's very clean.
Yeah, it gets one off that showstopper into the next round. This could be the snowball for Sad, the momentum that they finally need into this game. Just find him an orb somewhere. You can get a great execute off with the Cosmic Divide, the Armageddon.
And not badly from Timo. Still had a rifle in that round. Can't say the same for the rest of the team, though. Looking pretty clean with it on that A hit. Seek is pretty important. Logan probably in a one and done regardless, but anything to have slowed Sad down would have been a boon for the defenders. Oh, it's a big showers take. This is about to get ugly. Timo, I think, spotted out by that Trailblazer there. Able to avoid the Armageddon and still maintain that showers position. That's relevant. Here comes Sad straight down short, but there's, of course, a Razorvine in their way, and some of that Astra util is being used to slow them up. But they're all here. They're all alive. And there's still that Sky threatening to push into shower. Aftershock here. Dip is clear of it. It's a must-win for Timo. Ends up being a trade. We'll have to accept it. Still no plant, mind you. And still a chance to dive back through the TP, and that's what Snarly is waiting for. Here's a tap. Dip is going to plant. And that's Burbster just getting straight up caught outside that smoke, and no chance of that showstopper dream this round.
Yeah, completely overextended. Armageddon comes through. Can Core try to scale back into the site? Tuzi forced out of lamps as well. But taking this a little bit slow. They're weary about a shower rewrap. And the clock is already dwindling.
This Taeho util doesn't actually get them any real value. It's so deftly dodged by Tuzi. Benji is at the spot, of course. Logan has to go and test this. Not fun to have to do it in the retake. Tuzi has a crossfire. It's easy. It's so simple.
One enemy remaining.
Okay, Dip. Not even trying. That's fine. Sprays Darkest out on the run, and it's up to Nerve. Not to be. Sad have evened up this game.
Core have been a little too slow on these retake efforts. They need to get onto the spike a lot sooner to get the grav well expended from Tuzi, who's just sitting there waiting to click the button. And the more time you waste, you're just going to make it tougher for yourself when he has that lying in wait. Not Not a fan of the pace the core played out there. They need to accelerate. Sad have gotten right back into the game. They only even needed to use one ult there too. They came in with 3, and it only required the Armageddon to win to get that showers. I mean, they didn't even get the showers control. Matter of fact, off the back of it, they just tried to find the kills and showers with it. Didn't end up happening. Didn't end up mattering.
The core have that Armageddon. I think they send it over towards U-Haul. And then they also throw a guided salvo there as well. It doesn't, they're just hoping it forces a player out into the open. It doesn't at all. Tuesday just dodges them. Both forms of that util was supposed to clear U-Haul and they just didn't. So that was a crossfire that had to be walked into by core as they wanted to check A short.
Yeah, there's just no player trying to wrap through. It's too slow with the 2 rotates and spawn. They got to pick it up out of this timeout. Ideally, even if they lose this round, they just want to get these ults out of SAD, get them off the table when you know they need to do this full buy again.
Throwing next.
Here it is, round 18. And SAD 1 round away from parity. Gravnet line up in towards Octagon. Doesn't catch anyone. And core, keep an eye on these very dodgy weapons. They have no showers control, no short control. They are grouped up somewhere in between.
Trying to go for this showers repush. Tuzi's playing it very safe, just containing this area of the map. Doesn't want to throw his life away. Oh, dink through the wall.
I mean, to me, that's almost karma for what Tuzi did a couple rounds ago to Logan. Pushing into vents and just straight up killing them. There is Verbster across that A site, finds Darkest. That's the breach now out of the picture. So no ability to really disrupt a fast hit. Snarly knows that this is now probably one of the most important positions on the map. In the event that SAD are rotating in this direction, and he would be right.
Can he actually find a kill, though? This
30
is a
seconds left.
tough angle, and he just has to run. Yeah.
This showstopper likely heads over towards spawn side. No sound being made. I think he's been heard. Yep, Snarly inside container. Does get pinged out. Nerve moves up right into that corner. It might just be Logan's kill that matters in this round. Time is quite short in fairness. Timotino on an angle that's being watched by multiple pairs of eyes. Will be taken down to 32 and forced right out of the action. We're going to have an even game on our hands, and SAD have really made their comeback on this attack side.
Really, the only thing of note for core is that they got the showstopper used from Ferbsa, but SAD are also more than okay with using that to lock up the anti-eco, breach that B site, and find the opener. Game-defining round coming up as Timotino is investing in the operator. Economy will be totally flattened if they can't win this round and get to 10.
I will not die today.
Okay, so Rolling Thunder, Timo's actually picked up this operator now just to play the gate crash, escape, play on the extremity for contact line. But yeah, we've been seeing flashes consistently going up long, so there's always something to force him off the angle potentially.
Oh, and there we go. Classic. Fault line, missiles. Forces the SAD players out. Timo was so aggressive and punished for it.
Oh, he's going to be kicking himself about that one. He played directly into SAD's hands. Look what the spike is. Look at they are. They are not trying to push any part of the map. They are playing this default setup. They were happy to give up showers there indeed. And Timo just took the bait, pushed way too far into them, and has handed that operator over.
Similar situation after the prior round where it's Snarly on his lonesome, ready to absorb the entire hit. It's 4 players. SAD can Buffy long. Annihilation to try to get into the site. Won't be able to find a target, but it will force the defenders away.
Rolling Thunder by the defenders. They're trying to buy a little bit of time for Nerve, I think.
30 seconds left.
And that option now is no longer available to them. TP's over towards the A side as the pivot has been called. Ferbsa lingers. Darkest, though, almost expecting it. And maybe some frustration bubbling to the surface here for core, who've been stifled at basically every turn. Logan has a chance here to get up past this divide. It's been watched for, though, by Zerona. That is their third of the round. After a horrendous start to this map, Wyatt Zerona has been a factor.
They really are just allowing QOR to play into them. They're letting the game come to them, and it is getting them free kills. QOR are pressing so aggressively to take early duels, take early space. And SAD have been content to give it to them, re-clear, or, you know, in the case of Timatino, pushing all the way down long, just punish with the aim.
And that's it. QOR just have to wait this one out. Money's been terrible. They've not been able to string these rounds together at all. So it's a two-gun save. And I hope that they can stop SAD at this next turn, whose economy has been burgeoning, who likely are going to buy for much of the rest of this map, if not all of it. Darkest at least is able to get a consolation. The third kill extracted, and that operator will be saved.
The rest of the team, though, relegated to some tough weaponry. Bucky, couple sheriffs.
If that flank can work out there for Nerve, right? Time bought by the Rolling Thunder. Defenders throughout on the B site. Could have been a different story.
Comes that standard GrabNet lineup going into Octagon. Timatino trying to bluff with the operator again and just getting caught. Yeah, playing so aggro. It's just not working out, that style of play right now.
He's really going. He's not holding extremities for contact picks at all. He's walking up and hoping to find something, getting into an unexpected position. Logan here is tucked. There is a lot to spot this out. Trailblazer here would shake Logan out of this position. Seeker's also just as good at that. Logan's forced to beat a fighting retreat. Now stuck in that corner trying to deal with the drone. He gets flattened. He never really had a chance in this round. Gnarly, gotta respect this util coming in and knock down to 30. This is a nightmare for QOR. And it's one they're not soon going to wake up from. At least that operator somehow was picked up by Nerf. Don't know where that ended up. You may as well try and save it again. Snarly brought down to 0 this round. It's going to be a really awkward round 21 for QOR as well. It just doesn't get any easier for this squad. That's one small step towards a salvagement of this round, but there's so much more to be done. A double swing in towards Darkest is going to unravel them pretty quickly. Nerf can only spray through that smoke. As another one goes by the wayside, excuse me, for QOR, it's going to have been at least 5 rounds, if not more, in a row for SAD.
Nerf has got to get out of here, but regardless, he knows he's going to be hunted across the map. He does go down. SAD have way too much cash to not risk every single gun they have just to take the one op away. Genuinely worth it, no matter how many kills Nerve would have gotten there.
6 in a row, Wyatt. Look, you said at the start, in round 15, you said this might be the start of a snowball. Some momentum build up for SAD. And that is exactly how we have seen this play out. And frankly, QOR haven't helped themselves, right? A lot of this pushes up by Timo, who had a great start to this game now, look a little silly. QOR are being countered. SAD are happy to slow down these early rounds and catch them out.
I definitely appreciate how good the ultimate usage has been from SAD on this half. That's been really fantastic. That was another round where the Seekers get really good value in the mid-round to just try and get players out of those dug-in positions on an eco where they're going to be playing one-and-dones. What's going on in this other game, though? YFP, they took map 1. Early days on map 2 Pearl, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's that map 1 score ends up being 13-10. So relatively close, but, you know, Thief has a pretty sick game, drops 320 ACS, so can't complain. Very, very strong defense side from YFP on Bind.
With this comp right now from SAD, though, I would really like to see them slowing down the individual aggression, setting up more trap plays with the breach, and playing for big retakes that are with some more pace. The retakes were a little too slow. They need to speed those up, and we need to stop playing so individually focused. Let's lay some traps with the comp that we have.
You've got this breach Tahoe set up. There's just so much you can do in an early round that doesn't necessarily involve you risking it all. That at least is the idea. Trailblazer here. Yeah, clears out Hookah entirely, and it's Snarly who was forced to give up that ledge position.
Nervous, just jump peeking, letting the attackers know where they should be looking, and not in the corner where Snarly is playing with the judge. A judge that does not look like it's going to be doing all that much. Unless Sad attempt to re-push through Hookah.
Okay, this is better though. Slower round. By far from Core, and a dimensional drift now from Timotino. Bear in mind, an operator means that they can't exactly just pop out of this and go ham. It's a bit awkward. Through the TP now.
30 seconds
They have
left.
good showers control here, but Hookah's definitely going to be overrun. Now you can start to make use of this sort of brief Teho util if you need to. Timo had an opportunity there, but it just didn't quite line up for him. Darkest is set up with some of that aforementioned util, and just before they have a chance to let it go, Sad explode. That is brutal for Core. There's no coming back from a round like this, and Sad are going to go to map point. Snarly, nothing to do, like you mentioned. Only a judge in this round and no opportunity to make use of it. They're the worst rounds in Valorant. Feels like you never really had a say. And now Sad can continue to leverage their gigantic economy to try and take more weapons away. And that's what Dip does.
This should be the game. The economy for Core is horrendous. Sad just take one brief, a moment of pause there where every single player has their gun out as the smokes drop, holding all the proper angles, win all the duels. Is it 7 in a row at this point on the attack side? I mean, I don't really need to say it, but man, their play with this comp, definitely better on attack than defense. It was looking so awkward how they were trying to play with the Sky, especially around B. But otherwise, on the attack side, been getting some great value with the agent. I definitely like how Zerona's been playing it.
Obscuring
And
vision.
it ends up being another classic Sad Core slugfest that goes to a map 3. Saw that recently in one of the Fun Haver Invitationals. Snarly. Okay, not too shabby. Just as those salvos were coming down in front of him, he's able to pluck Zerona's head off. Again, still slow around for Core. They back up. Look at how much space they're giving. And they forced into this round. They'll be forcing into the next as well. So the cleaner they can make this, the more of a possibility of an overtime is on the table.
So I just want to cut noise here. They still have to deal with the sheer wall octagon, which is going to be very unfortunate if they try to just pop into one big execute. Core have rotated 4 players to B.
And they seem adamant about playing here. They've got no foothold over at A, so here they come. Annihilation gets thrown out. Looks like there might have been a catch on that one. Yep. We have a cocoon in play. Snarly going to go down. I think that's Timo inside of it. And Sad. What an execution. Timo eventually gets drawn to his death, and it's up to Darkest.
Spike planted.
Oh, buddy, it has been a brutal defense half for Core. They have looked rough. And that's the game, folks. We're going to a map 3. Sad Esports show up on their map pick.
Yeah, what can you say? That was just a lights out attack. That last round, so sick. The noise cut didn't even work. It got red. They drew 4 players to B. But then as the smoke drops, they explode out of Octagon together. Little sheer wall be damned. Annihilation used immediately to catch 1 player is going to be crucial. 1 had to be caught by that ult, and was. They just burst into the site together, win out the duels with the superior guns after that. That was a great execute against all odds in a 4v5 and 4 players on the site. That was some impressive stuff. I was very worried about Sad after the first half with the Sky comp. Was not loving how they were playing the defense, but they made me a believer on attack for sure.
And you can see so many rounds that we saw Core go back to like playing around in corners, you know, standing in U-Haul with a Bucky or something similar where, you know, that Sky util is actually really good. That Trailblazer clears them out. There's a round where they pivot over towards the A side and they have the Seekers to catch a player stuck in a corner in showers with the Sheriff. So a couple of moments where the Sky comp is able to shine, and in general, Sad look vastly improved after that first map. So Fracture will be the decider. After this break, we'll catch up with our desk, break down map 2, and then head into it.